Headlights bled across the cracked asphalt, dust hanging like a low curtain. I had a voice recorder in one pocket and a steno pad in the other, waiting in a booth by the window of Henderson Diner when the engines rolled in, 6 bikes, chrome fenders heat pink from the last of the sun. A waitress whispered, "Iron Wheel Boys," like it was a weather report. I caught the first seconds on my phone because I felt the air tilt. The door chimed. A little girl stepped out from the shadow of a red pickup, maybe 8 years old, braids tied with cheap plastic clips, a backpack frog green against her shoulders. She walked into the open like she'd practiced it, wide eyes not looking for permission. In her small hand, angled awkwardly, something dark and heavy. A cook near the register said, "Jesus Christ," so softly I barely registered it on playback. Someone else muttered, "Gun." Outside, the bikers cut their engines as one. The night rushing back on us. The FAR train, the buzz of power lines, a dog at the car wash across the street. The girl's voice reached us wafer-thin through glass. "Which one of you is my father?" A couple of customers crouched behind the back of the booth. I kept the camera aimed steady, fingers cold. A rider in a black vest with IRO, N-wheel stitched in an arc, white hair pulled in a long braid, lifted both hands slowly. He said, "Hey baby, I'm Doc. Mind letting me talk to you?" She looked hard at the group, then down at her hand like she was holding back a tremble. The outline in her palm didn't glint, matte, blunt. Another rider took half a step and was pulled back by his jacket. The waitress at my elbow whispered, "Wait, call the police." Someone already had. Doc took a knee. "What's your name?" Silence. Then Mia. A minivan eased away from the diner, tires whispering over grit. Inside, an old farmer's clock talked too loud. I watched Doc glance once to his left, the leaders check in, and then back. "Okay, Mia," he said. "Let's not point that at anybody, all right?" "I won't if you just tell me." "Tell you what." She swallowed. "Who is my father?" The sentence hung between the neon open sign and the moth-strewn floodlight over pump number 2. In my line of work, there's always a moment the story snaps into focus. This one clicked around the word father. Later, I would collect witness statements and police reports, security footage, and text messages. I would sit in offices that smelled like lemon cleaner, while men in expensive suits told me what wasn't true. But right then, it was just a child with a question, in a town, waiting to decide what it believed about leather vests and little girls. I hit record and whispered, "This is Henderson, County Route 18, Thursday, 6:12 p.m. Bikers present, child present, object in hand believed to be a firearm." Like and subscribe for more stories that challenge prejudice and celebrate courage. Part 2. The de-escalation, 6:15 to 6:28 p.m. I stepped outside when I saw the hands go up, past the thunder of my own heart. "Press," I said to a man in a denim cut with a crochet of old patches, as if that word might grant me some invisibility. He nodded toward the ground. "Stay on the curb." Mia's face was a scrim of worry over something harder. Sweat slicked her forehead. I stayed clear of the line of sight and capped my phone with my notebook like it was a microphone. "You learn to listen with your whole body." Doc spoke low. "I got a daughter. She used to ask me questions I didn't know how to answer. Sometimes I just listened." "Did you leave her?" Mia asked. "No." A patrol car rolled in, slow, lights spinning, siren quiet. Another followed. Officers took positions behind open doors, guns down but drawn. I watched Sergeant Paula Nguyen step forward in a vest marked police across a reflective band. She measured the scene like she was building it in her head. "Hey," she called. "Mia, I'm Paula, can we talk?" Mia turned her head, grip loosening and tightening. "He's supposed to be here," she said. "The one with the Thunder Eagle." "You're safe," Nguyen said. "We all want you safe." Her voice was muscle and lullaby both. She approached a yard at a time. "Doc, right?" "Yeah," he said, not much louder than a breath. "Paramedic out of work." "Keep doing what you're doing." To Mia, "Can I stand by Doc?" "Yes." Nguyen moved in. She crouched, not quite in Mia's eyeline, hands empty and visible. "That looks heavy. Can I help?" "It's not loaded," Mia said to the air. Nguyen's eyes flicked to Doc. "Hold steady." "You sure?" "My mom said it wasn't." "Okay," Nguyen said. Could you set it down for me?" Mia shook her head. "No, they have to say." Doc took off his gloves, palms up. "I can be a father right this second in the way that matters, if that's what you need," he said. Silence caught. "I can tell you you're not alone. You never were." Somebody behind me exhaled. Mia's shoulder sagged a fraction. I just need to know." "Who told you he was here?" Doc asked. She pressed her lips together and said nothing. Nguyen nodded at this object, her tone never leaving the warm register. "If you let me check that, I'll stand right here with you and make sure you get your answer. Deal?" A long beat. The girl bent at the waist like it pained her and laid the thing on the ground. It was a handgun-shaped piece, black paint chipped along the barrel. Nguyen slid it with a sneaker and scooped it with 2 fingers, index finger clear of any trigger, then popped a hatch. A hollow pop of relief crossed her face. "Starter pistol," she said. "No live rounds, no chamber." There were murmurs from the crowd, the sharp release of a held breath. Someone said, "Thank God." Someone else muttered something about crazy mothers, and I saw a waitress put a hand on his shoulder like an anchor. Nguyen clipped the pistol in an evidence bag. "We're going to figure this out," she told Mia. "Where's your mom?" Mia swallowed. She was supposed to come. She said if he didn't show, find the Thunder Eagle. "That's not our patch," a biker said softly, lifting his chest as if to show. On his back, stitched in white thread, an industrial wheel with wings, no eagle, iron crossed with rope. Nguyen's radio cracked to life. "Unit 12, a dispatcher said. Be advised, potential child welfare situation, CPS en route." Doc stood slowly. "Who told you about the Thunder Eagle?" he asked again. Mia stared at his boots. "A man at my mom's work," I wrote. Pen stuttering, Thunder Eagle, symbol, patch, who is the man, where is the mother? Part 3, the first 48 hours. By morning, we had names. The little girl was Mia Carter, 8 years old, 2nd grader at Ridgeview Elementary. Her mother, Leah Carter, 31, housekeeper at Riverside Suites, missing from her overnight shift. According to the initial police incident report, officers recovered a note in Mia's backpack, ink pen pressing hard enough to scar. "Go to Henderson Diner at 6, ask for the Thunder Eagle. He will tell you who your father is." The note, Sergeant Nguyen told me by the flagpoles outside the sheriff's substation, was written on hotel stationery. "We don't know who wrote it," she said. "We know it came from Riverside Suites. The gun was a converted starter pistol, potentially intimidating, but incapable of firing live rounds. Still, we're treating this as child endangerment." "Who brought her?" I asked. "She walked," Nguyen said, eyes flicking to the recorder in my hand. "From a bus stop up the road. An 8-year-old at dusk with a fake gun," I said. "No adult?" "We're looking at footage." Inside the diner, I replayed the video with the owner, Hank. He kept his hands under his elbows as if they might otherwise shake. Angle, my booth, the lot, the reflections. A pickup idles. Mia appears from beyond the pump island, not the truck. I toggled brightness. An older man in a security jacket stands by the trash can, turning away as she crosses. "That Riverside?" Hank asked. "Looks like it," I said, nose to the glass. "Harold Pike owns that joint." Hank said, You didn't hear it from me." Councilman Harold Pike had a plaque on the wall of the diner back room for donating to the fireworks fund. He had a seat on the zoning board and a smile like a commercial for life insurance. When I called his office, a publicist said he was traveling. When I reached a housekeeper at Riverside on her break, she said she'd seen Leah crying 2 nights ago in the laundry, holding her phone like it was a life jacket. Another told me the security supervisor, a man named Brenner, had been hovering around Leah lately, more than usual. According to a preliminary CPS intake, Mia said her mother told her to go to the diner if she didn't come home, that if a man with a Thunder Eagle patch showed up, that was him. Mia said she didn't know him. I asked the caseworker if I could meet Mia. "Not yet," she said. We have to stabilize." On the courthouse lawn, I met a man named Frank Darrow, pushing a mower for the county. He wore a long-sleeved work shirt despite the heat. A faded shape ghosted through the cloth on his forearm. When I told him about the Thunder Eagle, his eyes narrowed to a blue that matched the sky. "Back in the late 80s, he said, there was an outlaw club, used that name. Mean Bird, different from Iron Wheel. The old patch was a screaming eagle with thunderbolts. I ran with them a lifetime ago, not proud of it." "Anybody left from those days?" "Some went straight." He hesitated. "A guy named Brenner used to hang around. Works security now, I hear." Part 4, Riverside Suites. Riverside Suites sits by the highway like a secret with too much parking. Beige stucco, potted plants brought in every night. In the lobby, a piano played from nowhere. The clerk said housekeeping was on break. A photo of Councilman Pike cutting a ribbon hung between 2 mirrors. I walked the service hallway, fluorescent light buzzing like an insect. Leah's locker was tagged with a faded sticker, L. Carter. Inside, a sweater, a rosary, and a snapshot of a baby with cake all over her cheeks. A friend of Leah's named Andrea smoked by the loading dock and tapped ash into a can. "She never said who the father was," Andrea said. "Said it didn't matter, said she was done begging for a man to do right." "Any trouble here?" I asked. "We all have trouble here." "Like what?" She looked toward a security camera in a way. "Like bosses who don't like no." I requested the shift logs. The manager told me they'd have to check with legal. Through a back-channel city source, I got a list of VIP suites booked under a shell company, HBP Partners LLC, over the last 6 months. Cross-referenced against Leah's assignments, there was overlap. HBP Harold B. Pike. By the soda machine, I ran into security. The supervisor's badge read, B. Brenner. He had a face that had been broken once and never quite reset, and a birthmark on his neck under a stubble of shaving rash. "You a guest?" he asked. "Press," I said, showing my card. Looking into a missing housekeeper. He looked at my recorder like it might bite him. No comment. "Did you see Mia yesterday?" No comment. "You wear a Thunder Eagle?" "What?" "A patch." "I wear a uniform," he said, tapping his breast pocket. He took a half step closer. "You want to stay out of this one." "Why's that?" "Because people talk tough," he said, "but they don't understand how this county works." Out in the lot, a groundskeeper wheeled a cart of geraniums past me. "He's been here a year," she said without my asking. "He likes to remind the girls of old stories." "Like what?" "He says he used to run Thunder," she said, whatever that means. When I got back to the newsroom, I started putting lines on a board. One line ran from Leah to the hotel to the councilman's shell company. Another ran from Mia's note to the security desk to Brenner's neck, where an old tattoo, mostly erased, emerged when he turned his head. Part 5. The Iron Wheel. The Iron Wheel Clubhouse sat behind a machine shop, a low building with a mural of hands turning a bicycle rim. On the door, a sign, Food Drive Saturday. I had to remind myself how many stories start with a leather vest and end with a food bank. "People think bikes and think chaos," Doc told me, pouring coffee into a paper cup with a hand that had changed more dressings than I'd written articles. "We do toy runs. We do home repairs for seniors. None of that matters if someone wants a monster." Did Leah ever come here? He thought. A woman came once asking about a guy with an eagle tattoo. Might have been 6 months ago. We told her she had the wrong shop. We don't fly birds. Brenner? Used to be in a crew called Thunder Eagles back when I was a kid. Different thing. They were loud. They were ugly sometimes. Some of those guys aged out. Some didn't. I heard he was working security. He ever tell you his government name? I shook my head. "Brenner's last name is Martin," he said. "He's from here. He'll tell you he isn't, but he is." A younger member, Sonia, an art teacher with paint still chipped on her nails, rolled out a box of canned beans. "We get lumped in with anybody on 2 wheels, she said. "They'll use Mia's face if they can. I want that on record." "What do you think Thunder Eagle means?" I asked. "Alternatively," Sonia said. "A tattoo on the wrong man's forearm that he doesn't want anyone to see." "Whose?" "A man who wore a wife beater on his cousin's porch one summer and bragged about how things were when he was young," she said. "Everybody has a past here. The powerful get theirs retouched." Later, a retired mechanic named Cruz pulled me aside. "Pike," he said softly, "had a bird. Back when he was just hairy, he covered it with a suit when he got a seat." "An eagle? Thunderbolts in the wings?" Cruz said. "Anyone photograph it?" "Maybe back in the day." He put a hand on my shoulder. "You didn't hear it from me." Part 6. The Plan. Based on internal city emails obtained through a leak from a junior staffer I will not name, there was an agenda item scheduled for the coming council meeting. Ordinance 42B, a motorcycle curfew in the downtown zone, marketed as a safety initiative. The emails between a public relations firm and the council majority were explicit. Following an incident highlighting biker disorder, we can move 42B with minimal public backlash. In one email, an aide wrote, "Brenner confirms our narrative is playing." No context, no reply. I printed it twice to make sure I'd read it right. I took the emails to Sergeant Nguyen. Her face did not change except for a slight narrowing around the eyes. "If you obtain these legally," she said, "we will take a look." "What does playing mean to you?" I asked. "To me, it means we're looking at a potential manipulation of a child for political gain." She looked out the window toward the practice field where kids were running soccer drills, parents cheering. "It means whoever did this forgot that children don't reset like campaigns." We got a partial footage from a gas station, 2 blocks from the diner. Mia climbs off a city bus at 5:51 p.m. A man in a security jacket is at the bench. He leans down, speaks to her, hands her something wrapped in a fast food napkin. She tucks it in her backpack, the same frog green I'd seen in the diner, and walks toward Henderson. "Who is my father?" I wrote on the whiteboard in my office, black marker bleeding into cheap paper. "Who gave her the idea to ask bikers?" Underneath that, "Where's Leah?" A housekeeper called me after my number circulated. "Leah missed daycare pickup once last month," she said. "Said she had to see a lawyer about support. Said she didn't have money for the test." "Paternity?" "Yes." "Did she say who?" She hesitated. "She said it might ruin a man's career, and that maybe that was the only way he'd pay attention." Part 7. Leah. A woman at a church shelter out by the levee told me to come after dark. The building smelled like powdered coffee and rain. Down a hall with a corkboard of job listings and a basket of donated socks, Leah sat hunched on a folding chair, fingers threaded through the metal back like she was typing in air. "I couldn't get to her," she said before I could ask. The first thing she wanted recorded was that it wasn't abandonment. Her voice was coarse from not sleeping. I told Mia if I didn't come home, go to Henderson. Go to people who look like they know how to say no. That's what I said. "Who told you, Thunder Eagle?" "A man named Brenner," she said. "He said if you want the truth, go ask the Thunder Eagle. They don't lie." He smiled when he said it. He gave me this number to call if I needed help, and it went to nobody. He kept coming near me in the hall, told me he liked girls with grit. "How did Mia get the gun?" I asked. "I didn't give her a gun," she said, eyes filling all at once. "I told her the gun was a toy when she showed me what that man gave her. He said it was a flare gun, to keep her safe. He said it wasn't real. I told her not to touch it, but when I didn't come home..." She swallowed. "He called me, said if I wanted this all to end, put Mia in the right place, and everything would be clean. I got scared. I ran. I'm not proud of that." "Where did you go?" "I went to the only place I could go without a credit card," she said. "Church. I thought if I prayed hard enough, I'd find a word that made a man tell the truth." "Who's Mia's father?" Leah looked at the floor and at the door and then at me. "A man who wore a long-sleeved shirt to hide old things he did when he was young," she said. "A man who told me we were a mistake and gave me $200 the first time, and then nothing after." "Say his name," I said. She closed her eyes. "Councilman Pike. Do you have proof?" She opened her purse and pulled a crumpled letter from a legal aid office, counseling her on how to file for support and request a paternity test. An attached note on Riverside Suites letterhead read, "Please accept a room credit for your recent excellent service, HBP Partners." There was a smiley face next to the initials. "I was ashamed," she said. "And then I got mad. And then I got scared when Brenner started talking about Thunder Eagles and hinted a story was coming that would make me look crazy." Part 8. The Confrontation. Pike's office called a press conference to denounce dangerous fringe elements on two wheels and support the curfew ordinance. He wore a navy suit and a tie the color of fresh blood, American flag pin high on his lapel. Cameras lined the back wall. I stood near the aisle with a folder of documents and a recorder. "Councilman," I said when it was my turn, "did you ever have a tattoo of a Thunder Eagle on your forearm?" He blinked. A soft chuckle ran through the room. "I don't respond to rumor," he said. "Did you employ a security contractor named Brenner Martin, whose emails suggest coordination around an incident involving a child and local motorcyclists?" "My office employs security through vendors who meet strict standards," he said smoothly. "I cannot speak to your insinuations." "Are you Mia Carter's father?" I asked. The room went quiet. "We have a legal aid letter indicating Ms. Carter attempted to seek support. We have hotel records indicating overlap with your LLC. We have witnesses who say you bore an eagle tattoo in your youth and covered it when you ran for office. Will you submit to a paternity test?" A crack in his voice showed through the polish. "This is a smear." He gestured toward the dais. "See what these people do. They engineer scenes in parking lots, then accuse public servants of sins. You can clear it up with a swab," I said. "If you're not Mia's father, say so, and we'll print that." His publicist pulled him away. The next day, a lawyer representing Pike issued a statement calling the allegations baseless and politically motivated. We filed a story. Leah, under counsel, petitioned family court for child support and requested an emergency order for a paternity test. The judge set a hearing within a week. Outside the courthouse, bikers and church ladies and housekeepers stood shoulder to shoulder. Doc knelt by Mia when she arrived with a caseworker and asked her if she wanted a donut. She smiled small and took it. "We don't get to fix what happened," Doc told me as we watched TV trucks unpack. "We get to hold the line when the wind picks up. That's it." Part 9. The Break. According to the arrest affidavit filed 2 days later, Security Supervisor Brenner Martin was charged with child endangerment and witness intimidation. The affidavit cites hotel surveillance and gas station footage, as well as messages recovered from a burner phone in his desk. One text to an unknown number reads, "Delivery made, kid will show, get your cameras ready." Another, "Bird joke landed." When officers knocked, Brenner had a suitcase by the door. He did not comment on the charges. Pike's office released a statement saying they had no knowledge of